Welcome into the Cowboys Report. Here's what's coming up on today's show. Mel Kiper has a new 2-round NFL mock draft. We'll break down the Cowboys picks that there's one I'm not a big fan of. Among the other Cowboys draft rumors, headlined by Bijan Robinson and Micah Parsons working out together. We'll break all that down, but first, if you have not already, please go subscribe to our NFL Draft YouTube channel here at Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatNFL. We'll make sure the link and the clickable icon and whatnot is in the comments section for you. But if you love the draft, like me, make sure you guys are subbed over there. We'll begin with the Mel Kiper mock draft. 2 picks made by the Cowboys. There were trades. No trades, though, for Dallas' standpoint. First, some players who went off the board that are at least somewhat notable. Zay Flowers shocks the world, goes number 17. Paris Johnson slides to 19. Kind of interesting. Bijan Robinson is off the board. Same with some other potential Cowboys targets at 21. Jordan Addison. Deonte Banks goes to the Ravens. Emmanuel Forbes. Lucas Van Ness. DJ Turner, surprise pick at number 25 overall out of Michigan. That cleared the way for the Cowboys to take the second tight end taken. Dalton Kincaid went to Green Bay, and Michael Mayer ends up with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, it is worth mentioning last year that Mel did have the prospect correct. He had Tyler Smith up pretty early for Dallas, which I didn't like, and hey, he played a lot better than everyone thought, so I'll take the L there and be happy it worked out for the Cowboys. Here's how Mel pitched the argument for Michael Mayer. Last year, he pitched Tyler Smith as a right tackle. Some similar iffy arguments, but I think the pick does make sense here. Dalton Schultz left in free agency, and the Cowboys never replaced him. Let's give Dak Prescott a talented safety valve here. Mayer is the best all-around tight end in the class, not afraid to latch on our defenders and block. Don't discount receiving upside either. I'm a big fan of Michael Mayer's game. With Bijan gone, he would be the highest-graded player on the board for me. 809 yards in an offense that had a tough time pushing the ball downfield, multiple quarterbacks. The best play at Notre Dame for years was throw it up to Michael Mayer. It tended to work out pretty well. Now, I would dispute the implication that Cowboys lost Schultz and have nobody else tight end. That's kind of implied from Kiper there, because Jake Ferguson and Hendershot are there too. But if you want an instant upgrade at tight end, that is Michael Mayer. I would not be mad at this pick whatsoever. I will make note of some other prospects on the board. Kalijah Cansey, Quentin Johnston, Steve Avila, both there. Will McDonald, who I know the Cowboys like as a potential round 1 pick. Dan Quinn worked him out pretty closely there. One of my guys who doesn't feel a big need, it's probably not going to happen, but that's Brian Branch, the DB/safety out of Alabama. So if that's the way the board falls, who do you want to draft in round 1? It'll be the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, drop that prospect name for me at the pinned comment. Notable guys off the board in round 2. Jack Campbell out of Iowa, gone. Julius Brents from Kansas State is taken. At a time you want at a Barre. Steve Avila, 51, didn't quite make it back to the Cowboys. Other guys I think they might like, B.J. Ojulari, who I think is maybe more of a top 50 pick this year. A little surprised he was on the board at that point. Jalen Hyatt, 55 overall, just before the Cowboys were to make their selection. So in the end, Dallas takes Jonathan Mingo, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss. He is a 30 visit, so the Cowboys have some interest there, and I've got some thoughts on Mingo personally. First, let's break down what Mel argued. I thought about a replacement for Ezekiel Elliott here, but Mingo would make an instant impact on the Dallas depth chart. The 6'2", 220-pound receiver has a great mix of size and speed, averaged almost 16.9 yards per catch last year and was mostly running short routes. He can break tackles once he gets the ball. Now, there's one big thing I disagree with here on Mel. We'll break that down, but first, a word from our sponsor. Today's Cowboys Report is sponsored by ZBiotics. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't bounce back well the next day. That is, until I found ZBiotics. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics makes an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. Drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. So give ZBiotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. ZBiotics back with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS at checkout for 15% off. A big thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring today's video. That link and promo code will be in the comment section and description of today's show. I have issues saying he'll make an impact in the depth chart when he's wide receiver 4 at best. At least in year 1, right? That's not really an accurate statement. I think Mingo would play some. And maybe if you're scared about Gallup long term, it does make sense. And I'm not trying to be anti-Mingo here. I think there is plenty to like about him in a class full of small receivers. Mingo at just under 6'2", he's 6'1", 3/4, 220 pounds, does bring you the size this team doesn't really have at the current moment at wide receiver. I do dispute some of the break tackles. Okay, he broke 8 tackles all year. I'm not sure. It's a small sample size, only 51 catches. It's not great impact there. He doesn't always play up to his size either in terms of the contested catch. There have been some drops in the past. He is good contested catch. 40% for his career is fine. He didn't get open as much as I thought he would given his athletic testing. So I have more of a 3rd, 4th on him. 58 is pretty darn rich to me, especially considering some of the other guys on the board. 4 receivers I have above Jonathan Mingo. Josh Downs, he's small, maybe slot only. Okay. Marvin Mims, Oklahoma. Cedric Tillman was a lot more productive when healthy than Mingo was. I take Tillman over him. I'm a big fan of Tyler Scott. He didn't go at all in this mock draft. He's also a smaller guy, so hey, maybe it's not their style. I get that, but I have all 4 of those receivers above Mingo right now. Even though I haven't fully stacked them, they have higher grades. Cody Mauch, offensive lineman, was there. Keanu Benton, Zach Charbonnet, Isaiah Foskey was there as well. So there were a lot of options for Dallas that I wouldn't love Mingo in round 2. Let's just put it that way. Especially having taken a tight end already. You're adding what? Going to be your 5th or 6th option at best? 7th maybe with Tony Pollard too? Plus Ferguson? That's just not a route I want to go in round 2. So what grade would you give the Mel Kiper mock draft? A, B, C, D, or F? You can sound off for me in the comment section right now. More Cowboys draft buzz. How about Bijan Robinson working out with Micah Parsons, also alongside Roschon Johnson, DeAndre Swift, but you know how Twitter works. It's Bijan Micah. He's a Dallas lock. This doesn't actually mean that much. Remember that a lot of prospects will train with NFL players. You saw Mahomes and Trey Lance and the UCLA Dante Moore were all training together. Doesn't mean, Trent's about to be a Chief or Mahomes about to be a 49er or whatever. People train with their guys, and in Dallas or Texas area in general, if it's Austin in this case, there's a lot of players who hang out there. So, a lot of people train together. That's how it works. It doesn't actually mean anything in terms of hey, the NFL players went to the same facility. Shocking, right? Also worth mentioning, Bijan has not yet been reported as a potential 30 visits. He did make the alleged media thing at the Star. It was with Zeke, so of course Zeke is now gone. Bijan is going to be, if he's there for Dallas, he'll be the best player on their board. I have no doubts about that. They won't cheat and try to adjust too much for positional value there. I also don't think he ends up getting to you in round 1, despite the fan-led mock draft results we'll post later this week, having him on the board. Find out if he was the pick or not. But what is the percent chance that Bijan is on the board in round 1? Get those predictions in for me in the comments section. I think it's maybe 25%. It might be a little bit low. I'm going to bet if I have to put the over-under, still think that Tampa pick at 19 is a great late round 1 selection. I'd be surprised if he got past there. I think the Falcons and the Commanders, you guys might not like that last part there. Also viable landing spots. Patriots, a fun dark horse for Bijan Robinson. So I don't think he gets out of the top 20 this year. Now, we will have more Cowboys videos for you right here. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. One more draft news item. Darnell Wright is a reported 30 visit for the Dallas Cowboys. Coming out of Houston, Aaron Wilson, local reporter there, laid out the list of visits for for Darnell Wright. There were a lot of them, and the Cowboys were on that list. He was a right tackle, did play some left tackle at Tennessee. I thought he had some real issues there. I don't like him on that side. What's curious to me is, how are they viewing Darnell Wright? As a right tackle, then what are you doing with Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele? You're going to put Tyler Smith back at left guard then? Or do they think Darnell Wright could go play left guard for them? Play style-wise, I don't hate it. I think he's the best pure right tackle. I think he can play left side in this year's class, who I don't think gets down there because of the need for offensive linemen, but I also am not overly high on him. He'll probably be in my top 32, somewhere in that range. Haven't stacked him yet. Still got a couple weeks to do that. Bills, Saints, Bears, Packers, Bucks. If you want to move Tristan Wirfs to left tackle, stands out. Cardinals, Commanders, Cowboys, Lions, all teams that have brought in Wright for 30 visits. Allegedly 20 total, or close to, that's a lot of interest in Darnell Wright. Bears have been linked as of late, which would be maybe a trade down. Be a premium pick, top 10 on Wright there. If you can play guard, I have a lot more interest. Because he'll be right up there with Steve Avila in terms of the grades I give. So I don't think he gets to Dallas anyway, so maybe it's a bit of a moot point there, but I do think the visit is, hey, let's figure out, can he play guard? Because making him the right tackle when you have Steele, Tyron Smith, isn't the route I would go for the Cowboys. But I think if I had to bet money, much like Bijan, he's off the board when Dallas is on the clock, back end of round 1.